Welcome to the NZ Travel Show, an interactive show where you can ask your NZ travel questions to the experts behind nzpocketguide.com, New Zealand's largest travel guide. The NZ Travel Show will start in exactly 2 minutes. Just the time for you to hit the like button, ring the notification bell, and subscribe if you have not done so yet. nzpocketguide.com has over 3,000 articles covering all aspects of travelling in New Zealand, from a working holiday gap year to tips for a perfect family holiday. The site also features dozens of pre-made itineraries that you can use to plan your ideal trip in New Zealand. It's all available for free at nzpocketguide.com, so check it out. The NZ Travel Show is hosted by Robin, the Operations Manager of South Pacific Pocket Guide, the company behind nzpocketguide.com. The New Zealand Travel Show is also hosted by Laura, a journalist and editor-in-chief of South Pacific Pocket Guide and all its publications, including nzpocketguide.com. We're exactly 1 minute away from the NZ Travel Show. Get yourself comfortable and start asking your NZ travel questions in the chat. Robin and Laura will go over them when the show starts. In 30 seconds, our experts will be live from New Zealand to give you all the practical New Zealand travel tips you need, from the best transport options to the best accommodations and activities to choose for the perfect New Zealand holiday. Live from New Zealand, this is the NZ Travel Show with your travel experts, Robin and Laura.
We're here.
No, not yet.
No, we are.
Oh, yeah, we are. Woo!
Sorry about the confusion there, just staring at the screen.
I was looking at the other side. Okay, that works.
We're new to this. Oh, wait, no, we're not.
We've only done that for... Well, actually, we realized this month NZ Pocket Guide is 10 years old. So, yeah. So... Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us for a decade. We'll see if we do something special or not. We basically it sprung upon us. So.
Yeah, it's more like we didn't plan for this. We just sort of worked it out.
Yes.
That I think we got started on our initial sort of travel guide website
in 2014.
In 2014, but I'm not really sure what month because it was.
No, that month. That's why I realized that it was that month. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
This month, February.
March.
Yeah, that's when I first arrived.
Oh, yeah, we're in February. Yeah, that's Valentine's. Yeah, anyway, yeah. We started in March.
Yeah, cool. Anyway,
anyway, we're 10 years old, so that's great. Anthony Comstock is here saying Morena from Rodeo, California. Anyway, after this absolute cluster beep of an intro, let's go over what this show is all about. So, the way this works is you come to this live show, you ask us all your questions about traveling in New Zealand because we kind of are the experts. As I've just said, we've done that for a decade. We've been running New Zealand's largest travel guide for over a decade. It had multiple iterations throughout the years. You know, fun little history this travel guide had. But yeah. And you ask us all your questions. We're here for an hour. It's kind of like your hotline of traveling in New Zealand.
Hotline? Do people still use hotlines?
Well, I'm old. So yeah, here you go. I'm very old. And we also have a theme throughout the week. So throughout this session. So we'll go over that very soon. Denis et Géraldine says bonjour de la Belgique. Ils sont très contents de venir en Nouvelle-Zélande en septembre.
Oh,
yeah.
Très bien.
So they're saying hi from Belgium. They say they're so happy to come in New Zealand from September. They may be from the Flemish part of Belgium and not speaking French.
They're like, oh my God, you are insulting me so bad right now.
So yeah. And yeah, Adil is here as well, saying Kiara, Robin, Laura, and all the viewers. Nice to see you.
Kiara, Adil.
So yeah, so any of you guys, if you have any questions about traveling in New Zealand, go for it. We're here to answer all your questions. And in the meantime, we just have a bit of a theme this weekend. We also have a video since that's the thing we do now. So let's get started with the theme of the week. Here you go. We are taking you on a beautiful flight on top of Mount Cook. But why are we doing that? We're doing that because we're going to be talking about the best things to do for Valentine's Day in New Zealand. And also, if you want to be cheeky enough to propose to your partner during your trip to New Zealand, yes, we have 5 great proposal ideas. Yeah, we are only a handful of days ahead of Valentine's Day, so we thought this theme was appropriate. So in this video, we're going to be giving you a lot of generic kind of romantic things to do, and also some specific places where to do them, as well as some specific New Zealand proposal ideas. So yeah, before we get started, let's head back to the live chat and say hi to Ellery.
Yeah, Ellery's here saying hello from Minnesota.
Ellery, so it is one of our latest Patreon supporter. Yeah, I'm glad to see that you're not at the gym or in the great Minnesotan outdoor, and you can make it. Usually that's the bad time for him. So yeah, we're pretty happy to have you on board, my friend.
Yeah, great to have you with us this morning.
Indeed. All right, so as you guys oh, Kelly's here as well. Oh my lord, all the Patreons are showing up. Washington.
From Washington State.
So okay, so what's going on in the US today? Like, are you guys just all taking the entire month off because there's a Super Bowl, or is it really, really cold outside? Why is everybody like cozying in front of YouTube today?
Yeah.
Okay. So as the plane is about to take off, and we're gonna make our way around beautiful Mount Cook, let's begin talking about the best thing to do for a couple of the most romantic things to do in New Zealand. And how about we begin with something crazy that will bond you forever? Which is a tandem bungee jump, Laura.
Yeah, so obviously something that's great for couples to do is something that you can do together, and something typically New Zealand is to do an adrenaline activity, because New Zealand is the land of adventure and was the place where the bungee jump was invented. So it's the perfect...
I think this was the commercial bungee jump.
The commercial.
Was invented, yeah.
The one that uses bungees, at least.
Yeah. Not crazy vines.
Yeah. So, so combine these two sort of notions together and you get the tandem bungee jump. So you'll be surprised, there's actually quite a few companies around the country that allow you to do tandem bungee jumping. So you can do it at the Kawerau Bridge in Queenstown, which is the original bungee jump of New Zealand. It was the first commercial bungee jumping activity. You can also do it in Taupo, which is...
which they dip you through the water.
Yeah, well, you can actually also... They'll dip you in the water at Kawerau as well.
That's true. Yeah, but it's really cold on the south end. You may not want to be dipped.
Both are quite refreshing. And Taupo's like your North Island option there. So there's just 2 options there, but there are plenty more, and we do have links to all that good stuff on nzpocketguide.com, so do check that out. Also, we have plenty of videos about bungee jumping on the channel too, so find us in the depths of YouTube of us doing various bungee jumps.
Indeed. Okay, so speaking of taking a dip, how about we actually make this dip a bit more comfortable, and we head to one of the many amazing New Zealand hot pools.
Yes, so if you know, let's change the tone a little bit. If you don't want to do something crazy and adventurous,
if she's not into bungee, she's probably into hot pools, right? It's kind of one or the other, right? There's 2 types of people in the world.
If you are more into relaxation and, you know, a beautiful sort of soothing experience, then also New Zealand is perfect for hot pools, because there's a lot of natural geothermal activity happening around the country, both on the North Island and the South Island. So, you have many amazing, beautiful hot pool complexes to choose from. We do have, again, lists galore on nzpocketguide.com, so you can check out our lists of some very relaxing hot pools around the country.
And there is a link to that article actually in the description of this video, so you can follow along with us and you can have access to all those lists as well.
Yes.
But some of the best hot pools in New Zealand include, for example, on the South Island, you have the Maruia hot pools, which are located right in the middle of the Southern Alps. Like literally, you are surrounded by the mountains, as it's like literally just off the road.
Yes.
It's quite amazing. On the North Island, you get some really awesome ones, such as Hell's Gate, which has also like mud pools and everything, which makes it like really exceptional and really fun. Any of the other ones that kind of come to your mind that you really do like?
So the Waikiki hot pools, which are outside of Rotorua. So of course Rotorua is really famous for its geothermal activity, and one of the sort of commercial hot pools that's really cool is Waikiki, and it's a bit cheaper than some of the other hot pools as well, but still really beautiful. And that's on the road between Rotorua and Taupo. But you can also go to some, free natural hot springs where, if you don't mind getting your feet a little bit muddy here and there, roughing it up a bit, then, then the Kerosene Creek is a very famous one. Also on the road between Rotorua and Taupo.
All right, we have made it to the end of the runway. We are about to take off to go to a beautiful Mount Cook. So during this flight, actually, that you guys are going to see as we go through this video, you're going to see us actually land on the Tasman Glacier just below Mount Cook. So it's a ski plane. We're going to land there. We're going to explore that place a little bit. And then we'll fly back down to Mount Cook Village, which is going to be quite cool. Anyway, so number 3 on the list, we have carving a greenstone necklace. So greenstone are also known as punamu here in New Zealand, and they are a very precious stone to the local indigenous people, which are the Maoris here.
Yeah, so that's another reason why this makes a really good sort of unique and especially for New Zealand experience.
It's a great Valentine's Day activity. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So if you are on a trip in New Zealand during Valentine's Day, or maybe for another romantic sort of occasion, then this is definitely like something that's especially designed for New Zealand. And speaking of designing, so there's many places around New Zealand where you can carve your own greenstone. So like Robin says, this stone is really significant to the local Maori culture. So and there's basically it's more around the west coast especially is where it's sort of this stone's like really like an inherent part.
Yeah, you can find it more often, but usually when you will do that, you wouldn't go find your own stone.
You don't. Usually
they will provide it to you,
because it's very hard to identify the stone yourself when you're out just sort of foraging. So they have all the sort of stones prepared for you, and then you either can get like tips on designing, or you can design completely your own thing from scratch as long as it's doable within a day. And it's just like a really relaxing experience as well, like sort of doing a really hands-on activity, but you could also, it's not like hard work either, it's just sort of like just going with the flow, doing something.
It's really mellow, like you can do it within half a day or a day depending on how artistic is your tour guide, let's say. Sometimes you just kind of like really kind of relax hippie artists.
Yeah, so a few sort of recommendations we can give, and also you can check out the videos of us doing this on YouTube. There is Bones and Stones in Hokitika. Yeah. So that is carving real greenstone, which will take you like a good sort of 5 hours or so. So that's a great experience in Hokitika. However, if you want to do something a bit shorter, if you don't have that amount of time to allocate, then the Skeleton Bone Carving Crew, which is located between Barrytown and Punakaiki on the west coast. This is another really great sort of really little known studio that does bone carving, but they'll do Maori designs as well. So that's 2 really good sort of options for different time frames that you might have.
Indeed. Okay, so next up, we're just going to do the first 5 while we are just taking off, and then we'll do the next 5 when we're probably landing down there. So it's obviously watching a beautiful sunset. So New Zealand has some amazing sunset and amazing sunrises as well. And there are some absolutely stunning beaches where you can go and experience that together. It's really quite a moment.
Yeah, so obviously there's many amazing places to see the sunset, and it's more likely that you're just going to stumble upon a great sunset one evening. Most of the travel that happens around New Zealand is along the coastline. That's where most towns are located. A lot of the roads are located along the coasts as well. So there's usually little reason why you won't be sort of near the coast, which tends to be like one of the best places to see sunsets across the Pacific Ocean or the Tasman Sea. So yeah, it's just a beautiful experience. A couple of great places that you can enjoy. Beautiful sunset is especially on the west coast of the South Island, particularly around Hokitika Beach. That sort of area is renowned for its beautiful sunsets. Anywhere along the Taranaki coast is also very stunning. At the end of the day, just being on the west coast because that's where the sun sets is great. Yeah.
All right, so if you want to earn some brownie points, and she does really love cute animals, then in New Zealand you'll be able to spoil her for sure. There are a lot of really stunning little wildlife experiences and, basic close encounters with very, very, very cute animals like the beautiful sea doggos, which are my personal favorite.
Yeah, so there's many amazing wildlife experiences in New Zealand. So even if you are traveling around just doing a road trip, there are opportunities to hop out the car and check out seal colonies, for instance, on the coast of Kaikoura, also on the coast near Westport. It's particularly off Cape Foulwind.
And to be fair, around the February time is when the seal pups are getting a bit more gregarious and are more like inquisitive or playful or anything like that. They're little, they're basically grown a little bigger, so they're actually some of the best times of the year to go see the colonies.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just one of the wildlife experiences. You can obviously, talking about Kaikoura again, there's amazing whale watching cruises. There's also
dolphin swimming.
Watching whales from a scenic flight as well. There's dolphin swimming all around the country, actually. There's various different locations you can do that, from Tauranga all the way down to how far down south could you? Probably just Kaikoura is probably the most south you can go, or Akaroa. So yeah, any other wildlife experiences?
I really like
the
gannet colonies, right? Like in Uruguay, in Auckland, for example. It's really cool to see the parents kind of interacting together. Like the gannets are basically some like seabirds, right, which are kind of bonding together for life, and they kind of play with their necks together, and it's really cool.
Yes.
So yeah, that's very, very, very precious.
Yeah, also, that reminds me of the Royal Albatross Centre over in Dunedin.
Sending the nest together and everything.
Yeah,
really,
I guess
really
that has the more romantic theme, like watching these seabirds that are, bonding for life is just like, oh, so romantic. Yeah. So yeah, Dunedin's also a great place to see various different wildlife, from penguins, seals, sea lions. There's so much to see there. So, you are spoiled for choice in New Zealand.
Indeed. All right, so we'll have 5 more coming super soon. In the meantime, so since nobody's talking to us in the live chat, let's have a look at what we're doing right here. So we are doing a Mount Cook ski plane tour. So as you can see, the plane has some big skis at the bottom. So we are making our way toward the Tasman Glacier, which is just below beautiful Mount Cook, which is New Zealand's tallest mountains. And we decided to show you like basically real time what the tour is, right? The tour is under an hour, so it's kind of like, well, here's the camera, here's what it looks like. And we'll land all the way over there. You'll see us kind of explore things, taking photos, basically doing our work. But yeah, it's kind of a really cool office. So it's a work worth sharing.
I'm mesmerized by the landscape, actually.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
It just seems unreal. The braided rivers as well is so cool. The glacier lake. Yeah. And that environment's always changing as well. Yeah. Like this is just like an ever-changing landscape, but it's just so amazing.
Yeah. Also, this photo is not edited, so there is no extra colors or anything like that. It's really what it looks like. So
the video.
Yeah, the video. Yes, sorry. And so the one thing I want to point out is that quite often, actually, when you look at it, it feels a little more bland than it often is, but it's not the case. It's really pretty.
It's obviously always going to be better in real life when you're there. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I should give it a bit more color. I forgot to do that, but I thought that was kind of a fun idea. So Denny and Geraldine says, we will travel in the north in September. Do you suggest something romantic really to do? In September, you want to do something really romantic. Well, basically anything that we kind of just talked about, and we have 10 more coming right during this video. So what I always suggest, and like the romantic things that we ever do together, is just things that we know we really love. So we're really into wildlife, right? So if I was to actually point out to probably what I will consider being the most romantic thing to do on the North Island, will be to head to Murray Beach, which is near Auckland, at sunset. You'll see the beautiful gannet colony that we just talked about, which are absolutely stunning birds living in pairs and everything. It's really awesome. Plus at sunset, the beach is it's basically more like cliffs than it is a beach, right? And so, like, you know, it's like rugged coastline with the sunset. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. And I just think it's a moment that you know, if you're arriving in New Zealand in September next year, right, you could do that really early on in your trip and to really kickstart your trip in a very exceptional fashion. That's just I would just suggest that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say maybe another example, like we were talking about geothermal hot pools and that sort of thing. If you want to make it like extra special, many hot pool complexes have private hot pools. So you can always book yourself like a 30-minute session in a private hot pool, and that's always also really romantic as well. And there's,
for example, like in the Polynesian Spa in Rotorua, you've got some like, you know, the private hot pools are like facing the lake, and so you have like a really really cool kind of a setting here with your own pool.
There's also the secret spot, which is a bunch of sort of like cedar hot tubs that are in the forest, although it's not like natural geothermal hot pools. It's sort of like basically an artificial setup, but they've made it sort of within a beautiful sort of forest and nature. So that could be another option as well, to have like a private experience with hot pools.
Ellery is asking, in New Zealand in March, so next month, what beach water would be warm and have a good sunrise or sunset? Okay, let's address the warmth part first. It really depends where you're from, right? I don't know how cold it gets in Minnesota and how you kind of like, you know, I know it can get really cold, right? But I don't know what your tolerance basically for coldness, right? If we talk to one of our other Patreon subscribers, which is Kiwi Lauren, for example, which, you know, she's from Canada and is okay with minus 40 degrees Celsius, she's fine and she doesn't care, right? So it really depends what it is. So just so you know, March is basically the beginning of autumn in New Zealand. So it's not necessarily the warmest kind of part, but we still can have some really, really good days, right? So it probably would be nice, you know, in outside, but then in the water it may be a little cold.
I would say like I would just say like the water's probably more the thing to cool you off, like the heat from the sun. If you have a nice warm day and you need to cool off, like the water's not necessarily warm, but it's refreshing to get out of the heat of the sun. So I'll just continue.
Cool. So when it comes down to specific beach to recommend you for a beautiful sunrise, I would recommend Whangamata on the North Island. It is facing like a couple of rocky islands, which looks really awesome. And for good sunset, as Laura was talking about, probably Hokitika, although I wouldn't swim in Hokitika. It will be relatively cold. So I think Whangamata may be a good option for you. Something like kind of more in between. It says right now in Minnesota the lakes are frozen. Okay, but you're not swimming in there, right? Or are you one of those, Ellery?
So I'm sure you'll find any of the obviously ocean water is also always warmer than lake water anyway. If your tolerance is good, you will probably be fine having a dip in the ocean anywhere in New Zealand.
And Ellery, since you're on Patreon, right, feel free to put your itinerary within the the spreadsheets that we all have, and we can give some suggestion based on your itinerary, so you don't have to do too much detours as well, because they're just the first two one that come to my mind, right? We could come up with way more for you, so feel free to kind of interact with us like even more on the Patreon group. Super happy to do that. And if you do need me to go over how to put your itinerary in the spreadsheet and everything, we can do that on the call that we have literally in 30 minutes. So if you guys don't know, for example, Dennis and Geraldine, I know you're not on our Patreon group. But if you want to join us on Patreon, it's pretty cheap, and you actually get access to picking our brain as much as you want. So you get access to a secret Facebook group when we are all like just about like 20 people, and we just all interact a lot together all week long. And we also do weekly calls where we can kind of discuss your trip and help you make it even better and share a lot of tips. So it's weekly group call just after this show. And we also have like a spreadsheet where you put all your itineraries, and we add like kind of tips or anything like that for specific locations you're going to go to. So yeah, it's quite cool. All right, Ellery says, yeah, he will do. Nice, awesome. Okay, so I love the questions that you guys are having for us at the moment. That's absolutely great. So what we'll do, we'll continue with 5 more, and then we'll get back to all of your questions, if that works with all of you guys. And that should take us all the way to like landing on the beautiful Tasman Glacier. Fun fact, by the way, the Tasman Glacier we are seeing just below us right now is that big, long kind of river of ice that you can see. It's actually the longest glacier in New Zealand. So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And a fact.
Yeah, and a fact.
It meets
Fact
all the
and fun.
criteria.
Yeah, beautiful. Mount Cook, longest glacier. I mean, we're treating you today.
Yes.
All right. And by the way, we're watching this video because you guys on Patreon voted for it, actually. So yeah, that's cool. All right, so let's continue with some more romantic things to do for Valentine's Day in New Zealand. And New Zealand being a country of many kilometers of coastlines, how about going on a romantic cruise?
Yes, there's definitely no lack of cruises or scenic boat trips in New Zealand. Everyone, that's probably the one that most people do when they come to New Zealand is the cruise in Milford Sound, but there's also cruises in other fjords in the Fiordland National Park. There are beautiful cruises, particularly around Akaroa, where you can go sailing, you can even go jet boating. Don't even think about just one type of boat. There are many different types of boats you can take for your romantic cruise. So.
Although I would say that jet boating is a bit less romantic and it's noisy and thrilling and all that. So I'd go for more for an actual cruise.
Yes.
But we talk a lot about coastline, and there is plenty, right? From Auckland all the way down to like in Stewart Island, you can do a lot of cruisings and everything.
Yeah.
But there is also lake cruising, and there's some really romantic ones to do. There's some sunset cruise on Lake Taupo, for example, which are really cool. You get your nice little blanket, you get your drink, and you go see the beautiful carvings and all that. It's kind of really fun. So there is a lot of different cruising options around.
Yeah.
But we're gonna stick with the water for a little bit, and this one will be a test for your relationship, and you'll know if you will stick together for life or not if you stick each other into a double kayak. This can turn funny, but yeah. So head into one of the kayaking tour and team up.
Yes. So most kayaking tours, they will have, especially on the ocean, they'll have double kayaks because it's just easier to paddle. Like, you've got two people with the pedal power. Or the paddle
if Laura is
power.
at the back, you only get one person to paddle, but that's fine.
But also, yes, when you are in a double kayak, it obviously works out a lot smoother if you can work well together. So that means, paddling at the same time, making sure that you can turn corners together, all that good stuff. So it is a really good sort of test of how well you work together, test of all things.
How well you communicate together.
Yes, test of your relationship in general. So, like we say, there's many kayaking opportunities around the country, whether it's on lakes, rivers, on the ocean, around the coastline. Oh, there's just like so much to choose from. Again, in the link in the description below, there is yet another link to all the best kayak tours in New Zealand. So check that out.
And as our plane is positioning itself for landing on the glacier, we're going to continue and talk about something which is not too far from Mount Cook, actually, Lake Taupo. So Tekapo, yes, sorry, Lake Tekapo. So Lake Tekapo is blossoming with lupins in it's blossoming
November,
but
December.
but it's the blossom that's still there in late summer.
Yes.
And so that's kind of like your last window to be able to see the lupins by the lake. And those are those pictures that you've seen on many postcards and blogs and vlogs and all those.
Yeah, so obviously beautiful flowers they're just associated with romance and Valentine's Day. It's like the classic Valentine's Day gift, although I wouldn't really I don't know if you can pick. You could pick the flowers
Well,
if you wanted
technically
to,
they
but
are
it's
weeds
a
actually.
pest.
It's a pest in New Zealand.
But you
the
do not want
difference.
to travel around with these flowers, that's for sure. You are responsible for spreading the blight
Yes.
that is lupins. Then, yeah, it's not a good thing. But, yeah, just seeing these, they're here, they're in Lake Tekapo, with the background of turquoise waters of the lake, mountain in the background. It's just the whole setting itself is very beautiful, and there's a reason why there's so many wedding photos taken around.
Yeah,
Lake
it's probably one of the
Tekapo.
most like romantic setting for like couples photos. So if she or he is into photography, like
Yes.
this is definitely the best place for them.
So most people, when they don't go to Lake Tekapo, they go to the Church of the Good Shepherd, which is like the main sort of tourist hotspot. But it's really quite crowded there because it has become really popular and famous over the years. However, there are actually some much nicer, quieter spots around the lake. So when you arrive in town, just heading sort of away from
Well, that
around
one church, right? Take that photo of the church and just head away
take a
from the
photo of the church and basically head when facing the lake, head left and keep continuing down further past the lake, past the holiday park, and they will find some nice sort of quieter areas that still have lupins around, and it's just like a beautiful, more quieter setting. So that's just an extra tip there for if you wanted to sort of make it a bit more romantic.
Yeah, because Laura is not meeting her words right here. It really does get really crowded. Like it's bus tours after bus tour after bus
Yes.
tours, and all of them are on board, off-boarding, so 20 to 40 people. And so you could have very easy like 200 people around that one area taking photos, and that sadly makes it a little less romantic. And there is a reason why you took them to New Zealand and not to Paris, because you wanted to avoid all the crowd and you still want to make it romantic. So here's the tip. Okay, so next up, and speaking of something which is usually a bit smaller and a bit more intimate, how about visiting one of the many amazing wineries that we have in New Zealand and, do some wine tasting?
Yeah, so New Zealand has many different wine regions, and each one's more romantic than the other. So you've got Waiheke Island, which is just off the coast of Auckland, which has, I think, more than 20 different vineyards there. Not all of them are open for tastings, but a good chunk of them are. They have really beautiful cellar doors, some of them even elevated with amazing views, so you can just combine the experience with even having a romantic dinner together, that sort of thing. There's really some fantastic views paired with great wines on Waiheke Island. Of course, you can also go to Marlborough, which is the largest wine region in New Zealand, and they have just so many wineries to choose from. You can sort of combine the experience of doing sort of like a cycling tour or self-guided cycling tour, going between all the wineries and doing wine tastings in different places, or they do driving tours as well if you don't want to be hassled with the cycling around drunk. So yeah. So
Hassled with cycling drunk, just if you don't want to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, there's different ways to experience the wine regions. Other wine regions include Queenstown, so that's like the Otago wine region. There's also Hawke's Bay, which is the oldest wine region in New Zealand, located on the North Island. There's Gisborne as well. So,
which in fact I would actually suggest Gisborne as one of your prime kind of choice if you can make it. It's a little bit more off the track, but most of the vineyards that we've experienced over there are fantastic places. You can stay, some of them, and fantastic places for sunrises, as this is the region in New Zealand actually, and so it's one of the regions in the world where you see the first sunrise every day, so that's kind of a really cool moment to share together as well.
Absolutely, great suggestion.
Yeah, and if you happen to do Marlborough, and to do your wine tasting in Marlborough, don't forget to check out is it called Matakana Chocolate Factory, which is nearby as well?
Yes.
Yes. So
that's in Marlborough you're talking about. Yeah.
So if you happen to be in Marlborough, just pluck a little bit of an addition to your wine tasting over there. Do a couple of vineyards and everything, or just do one vineyard. But try to head to that amazing chocolate factory. They have some absolutely fantastic chocolate delicacies, and chocolate is an aphrodisiac. So here you go.
Wow, great.
Sorted. All right. we're gonna take a big left right here on our suggestion from the the fancy lush wineries. And for number 10, we're going to be talking about rolling down a hill in a giant hamster ball together. So it's called Zorb, and there's a lot of really fun couple kind of adventure kind of activities to do in New Zealand, and that's definitely one of them, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, so this is one that you can experience together, and Zorb is located in Rotorua. It's located just outside the city, really short drive outside the city, and they have various different sort of tracks downhill tracks that they will release this giant inflatable hollowed out hamster ball. Is kind of the best way to describe it.
Hollowed out. Nobody carved inside.
And they fill it up with a very shallow amount of water so that, and then they throw you in, or you throw yourselves in, and then release you down a hill, and you're just sort of rolling around this hamster ball together, and it's just really like a lot of fun. It's a lot of nonsense. It's just silly fun. And then when you're at the bottom, they have like hot tubs and stuff, so you can sort of like warm up between goes on the Zorb. So yeah, it's just
let's
really...
say they don't just put cold water in the bowl, right? So
they do put hot water in
So
there,
a lot of people actually think they're going to be really frozen in the bowl and everything, and no, it's not. It's not something that you're going to actually be dreading.
No,
it is not as hot as a hot tub for sure, right? But it's like slightly heated water, so you're not going to be like freezing cold.
Yes, they work hard on making sure that you're still warm and comfortable. You can do it any time of the year. So and then when you're waiting in between, you can just relax in the spa pool and watch other people fly down the hill. So it's really fun. It's really different, and just one of those sort of unique experiences that you can have in New Zealand.
And within the same vein of like those kind of things that you can be doing together as like kind of like adventure activities, like more like to do with couples. So we're talking about bungees as well. Like there are some other things you can be doing depending on what your tastes are, right? Before we do another 5, right? Remember, you can do jet boats if you're really into these kind of things. You can do quad bikings. You can do like those kind of things are available for couples quite a lot. So do keep in mind that we're giving you like some samples of what there is, and on the article that we did put in the description of this video, we do have like full list of like ideas of things to do, or romantic things to do in Rotorua and everything. So it looks like our pilot is not finding a spot to land just yet. It's gonna find it.
Is this the landing one, or is this just the scenic flight?
Maybe it's just a scenic flight. I may have put the wrong one. I am unsure. I may have promised something that may not happen.
I think that is, it looks like we're actually going back down the glacier, like back towards the Tasman Glacier lake now.
It is correct. It is the Mount Cook 360. So that is not a ski plane. I've said something wrong.
So this is a scenic flight that actually is called Mount Cook 360 because essentially it does a 360 around Mount Cook. So this scenic flight is basically allowing you to see the views around Mount Cook, which is or Aoraki Mount Cook, which is New Zealand's tallest mountain, and also, as you could see from the video, you also get to see New Zealand's longest glacier, and all of that in all its glory.
Yes, we'll do the landing another time. I have the video already. I just placed the wrong one. Anyway, let's go back to the live chat, and so we have a Robert that says, last year this time, all the talk was about Cyclone Gabrielle and Night's Romance and Roses. No one can accuse you folks of being static. Yeah, that's kind of true, actually. Things change. Ooh, speaking of changing, the camera just
took a little bit of a
hit. Interesting. I wonder what just happened.
Gulp.
We are fine, folks. We will land at some point. I promise we'll be fine. That will happen. All right, so feel free to keep on asking us all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. In the meantime, we'll continue talking about love in New Zealand. And so for the next section, we're going to be talking about 5 more romantic things to do in New Zealand for Valentine's Day. And at number 11, I'm just going to let Laura elaborate on that. I'm going to say, take her to the Love Potion Factory.
i.e. a local brewery. So another thing that New Zealand does pretty well, or very well in fact, is there's a lot of beer brewing here. So there's a lot of microbreweries that you can visit, and some people, you can just go there and do tastings, and you can get tasting trays or pair that up with a meal, or some breweries actually offer brewery tours, so you can learn about the beer making process, and that almost always ends with some beer tasting at the end. So there is a ton of different options you can do around New Zealand, and we do have various videos on this channel of us doing those various different experiences. So in the South Island in Wanaka, there's Beer Works Wanaka, which is a really good option, and that really is a micro brewery. If you want to go for something a bit larger scale, there's the Monteith's Brewery in Greymouth, or the Spates Brewery in Dunedin. They're sort of the two sort of more famous ones. Check out our videos here on YouTube of us doing those experiences. The Sunshine Brewery in Gisborne, speaking of Gisborne, is also a really good option. They don't really offer formal brewery tours, but we kind of just asked, and then they're just like, yeah, sure, come and have a look. So some places are like that. And then they did tasting trays that were maybe not really taster size.
Full
they
beers,
were
here's like a tray
large.
of 5 full beers.
So and they had some really creative beers as well.
Yeah.
So there's really a lot of different experiences. No matter where you're traveling in New Zealand, you're bound to find one that will suit your itinerary. So do take a look at different options around the country.
And the drinking age in New Zealand is 18 years old. I just realized I didn't say it in the wine part.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, I did hint at the fact that chocolate were an aphrodisiac. So here you go. How about you make your own sweet chocolate?
Yeah, so there are actually sort of boutique chocolate factories in New Zealand that not only can you just go there and taste all their chocolate, because that's kind of usually the most fun thing to do with chocolate, is to just go taste it. But there are certain chocolate factories that do sort of small workshops that you can do and make your own chocolate for each other. So, for instance, the Seriously Good Chocolate Company, all the way down in Invercargill, does offer this experience. And we do have a video on this channel of us doing that experience. It is really a lot of fun, and you can make some really cute personalized chocolates for each other. You also get to make quite a lot as well. It's not like you only go away with a small bag. I think we had bags and bags and bags of chocolate. So yeah, it's a great experience. And so it's just something a little different. Different from your usual, I guess, New Zealand experience.
All right, so next up, unlucky number 13 on this list. How about you become the Prince Charming you ought to be by impressing her on a horse?
Yeah, hopefully it's not unlucky 13 and you don't get sort of booted off the horse. Horse trekking is another really sort of really beautiful experience to do in New Zealand. And again, many different locations around the country do this. There's many, mostly sort of farming stations where they're located in really beautiful sort of mountainous regions, or even some regions by the coast. They'll have horse stables. And just sort of doing this experience together is really nice. And obviously, horses are beautiful creatures, very majestic, just adds to it's more of, I guess, sort of traditional romance. It kind of goes with the theme, goes with the vibe, and lots of horse treks to choose from. Do check out nzpocketguide.com to check all the different ones out.
Link in the description.
Yes.
Okay, number 14. How about you go see or swim with dolphins?
Yeah. Beautiful dolphins.
Yes.
I mean, animals, once again, they're always so cute. So just really amazing to see this wildlife in their natural habitat and to share that with your partner. So you can either see dolphins on cruises that we've talked about. Often you'll just see them swimming alongside the boat, but there are many different locations where you can actually swim with dolphins. You can swim with dolphins in Kaikoura, in Akaroa, in Tauranga, and Marlborough as well. They're the ones that first come to my head. So
Yes, there are more. The one thing I'm going to say is that swimming with dolphins is actually really cool, because you spend most of the time with your head in the water and kind of looking at that. When you come back on the boat, it's such a fun experience to just share together when you're seen and everything, and how excited you are together to have shared that experience without being able to communicate in the more mainstream kind of way, which is just talking together. So yeah, it's really cool.
Talking is so mainstream.
Well, it's the mainstream way of communicating, isn't it? Wow, those sassy
I'm in
strong
a
with this
sassy
one.
mood.
All right, last one on our list will be number 15, and it's going out for romantic kiwi meal.
Oh, a romantic kiwi meal. So yeah.
Two words very often put together. Put beetroot on that burger, that makes it romantic.
Yeah, so of course, New Zealand food on its own doesn't really scream romance, okay? It's like fish and chips. Maybe like, I don't know, I guess a hangi meal is more the sort of a cultural than a romantic experience. However, you can always put a romantic twist on these. So, you know, get your fish and chips takeaway and take it down to a beautiful setting on the beach, or go, you know, find a romantic setting to eat it in, down at the wharf, by the coast. Oh, there you go, romance added into your fish and chips experience.
And there are plenty also of really high-end restaurants which offer like some really cool take on, you know, the local delicacies, which is really nice. There are also some really fun settings. We mentioned eating in beautiful wineries. There are some really stunning winery, both in Waiheke, Gisborne, Marlborough, all the places we were talking about. You know, so both restaurant with settings, wineries, but there is also one that I want to highlight just because it's kind of fun, and it's Zeeland, which is New Zealand's only tea plantation, and they have some really cool places to have kind of nice of a bit more like high tea, basically.
Yeah,
it's
high
really
tea tasting. It's another really, like, it's the only tea plantation in New Zealand. So yeah, it's really different.
All right, so that is 15. Next up, we'll talk about 5 ideas for proposals. So New Zealand proposal ideas. But first, we're going to talk to Anthony. He says, stay safe, but I'm here until the end. Oh, yeah, he said that we're almost done in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you for giving us your signature phrase
Yes.
once again, Anthony.
All right. As we are going to be landing on Mount Cook Airport right now. So, again, that is a Mount Cook 360 scenic flight that was on the landing on the glacier. I will play that next time, I promise, or one of the next time. Let's talk about 5 New Zealand proposal ideas. So we're going to go a little quicker right here because you want to obviously make it your own. But if you need a place to start with, let's go over doing a ski plane adventure, the thing I was supposed to play today. So it's really cool. You can take that plane, basically the ski plane that we're seeing right here, and it will land on the Tasman Glacier, which is New Zealand's longest glacier. You have a bit of time there. This is your time to get on your knees and beg her to stick with you forever, despite who you really are in the inside. Next up, we have Hobbiton movie set. So it's a really kind of really cool and magical place. So if you two are a little bit nerdy and really into the Lord of the Rings, it is a really cool place and a very unique setting for your proposal, especially if you put a bit of a spin into, well, how you theme your proposal. Next on our list, we have the beautiful Canterbury Plains, and making them even better with the backdrop of the beautiful Southern Alps. How about a hot air balloon proposal? There are some really stunning tours that you can time for sunrise or sunset. In the Canterbury Plain, we mostly suggest sunrise. It will be really amazing. Next up, we have a stargazing tour in the Aoraki Mackenzie Dark Sky Reserve, which is nearby Mount Cook, where we are right now. Stargazing tours are notoriously romantic. There is so much to see in the New Zealand skies. And by being a dark sky reserve, the area actually limits legally the amount of light that you can produce in some of the local villages and everything. So therefore, it makes the skies even so brighter. It's really awesome. And speaking of bright skies and stars, well, if you can't wait for the evening and you want to do it during the day, how about you take her to a daylight stargazing in the glowworm caves? There are some beautiful glowworm dells, especially around the area of Waitomo, and that would be a great place for a proposal, as the local itself is stunningly romantic. All right, so that wraps up our kind of Valentine's Day coverage. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. If you want to know more, there's a link in the description below. If you want to support us, you can head to nzpocketguide.com, which we have now been running for 10 years. I just realized that today. I'm so happy about it.
It's news to us,
I know,
too.
it's news to us. It's so cool. And if you want to support us, join us on Patreon. There's plenty of pros for you, plenty of perks. You can get all help to plan your trip to New Zealand. You have access to group calls, etc. So here you go. We have now landed back in Mount Cook. I hope that you did enjoy this tour, and we'll see you in the next video. But before we stop for today, how about we talk to Anthony, where he says, a happy Valentine's Day coming up. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day to you as well, Anthony. So does anyone has any questions before we wrap it up? We still have another 10 minutes actually. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or want to talk about your upcoming trip to New Zealand, go ahead. I'm sorry I actually played the wrong video. I do feel pretty bad about that. I was supposed to do ski plane and I just did the Mount Cook 360. I just think it's because
You saw the skis on the plane. You
exactly,
were
like the
"There we
thumbnail
go."
was just that. That's literally what on my files, right? I just quickly saw the thumbnail. I was like, oh yeah, the plane with the skis, that'll be good. So wrong, that boy. Very, very wrong. So yeah, I do feel guilty about that. I know you guys voted for that one. So yeah, I did let you down.
Well,
sorry about it.
If it's any reassurance, both the experiences are pretty similar, except for you don't get a glacier landing, but
Yeah.
you do see the same views. So
Yeah,
there
the
you go. You
views
got
are similar.
half the experience. Hopefully,
Oh yeah, I feel great
hopefully
now.
your Valentine's Day will be better than just half the experience. But
But yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I really like about that tour as well is that it's a very small plane as well. It's pretty intimate. So sometimes,
Yeah.
even just as a couple, you would get the whole plane to yourself because there's basically only 4 seats, I think, in there. Like 4
Yeah.
passengers. It's like 6 seaters. 6 seaters in total, I think. So yeah, it's kind of nice. And also the plane's so light, the guy's pushing it with his hands. What was I flying in and why and how? Also,
Yeah.
I really wonder what happened to the camera, like where you got knocked, like
maybe a bit of wind got.
Yeah, and maybe I didn't tighten it enough. It was back in the days when the GoPro's accessories were all
breaking
breaking.
constantly.
Yeah. Well, we were putting them through their paces. Let's be
It's
honest.
very true.
Anthony-
Anthony says, "Oh, sorry. It was still a good show.
Good.
Thanks, Anthony.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, you guys are still happy with us playing. I can't speak anymore.
Playing
videos,
playing
yeah.
the videos during
Yeah, I
during
think
our
it's
theme
cool.
of the week. It's the idea is obviously for something more interesting to look at than our faces.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying that. We thought it was a better idea at least.
Yeah, look at Aurora doing a job. I like it. What am I doing? I have no idea. Why am I still in the plane? Am I taking
He's
a
not
nap?
even detaching the. I think everyone's forgotten the camera and just left.
Yeah, no, but I'm still in the plane.
Yeah.
I haven't got it off. I don't know why I'm taking a nap over there.
Maybe I'm filming you getting out of the plane because we were also doing videos for New Zealand's biggest gap year.
Yeah, but wait. There's only one door. Like there's no.
Is there not a door on the other side?
It's not a car. It's a plane.
It looks good. It looks like a car. It looks like it's been thrown together. Like it actually looks less technical than a car. Adil says, "Don't worry, Robin. It was still a good flight. Beautiful scenery."
No, that's correct. There was a door on the other side. It just came out. Okay, interesting. I don't know. I always picture planes only having doors on one side.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
so do I. I just seem to, I don't know. I seem to recall this being a bit different.
Yeah. Well, here you go.
Kelly says, "Like the videos, it was a beautiful flight."
Yeah, it's really fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. As Laura was saying, I do enjoy the braided weavers. So yeah, here you go. Bye. Oh, we're back to the beginning.
back
So
to the beginning.
it loops itself. But yeah, that was over. All right. Well, everybody, thank you very much for joining us for this show. It looks like there is no questions coming up, so we'll wrap it up now. In less than 10 minutes, we're having a group call with our Patreons, which is a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that very much.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll be chit-chatting. Who's coming really soon? Oh, I know Alberto landed like 3 days ago. No, 2 days ago. He landed on Friday, I think, in New Zealand. So yeah.
So he's our newest Patreon, right?
Yeah, Alberto is on US Patreon. He landed in Auckland and then flew to Queenstown, I think, on Friday. So he's just landed in New Zealand. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'll be interested
Yeah.
to see how his trip is
Indeed.
going.
All right, everybody. See you. Well, if you're Patreon, see you in less than 10 minutes on the group call. Bye-bye. And otherwise, we see you next week. And the theme for next week is, I don't know just yet. I haven't scheduled anything. I'm a failure today. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.